There are few, if any, Lexingtonians who have made more impact on our city than a man born in the mountains of eastern Kentucky who would become a bedrock of hope and vision than Porter Jeneil Peeples. Known to all who know him respectfully as PG, this son of a coal miner from Lynch, Kentucky has shaped lives, neighborhoods, and organizations with over half a century of service. The story of Peeples is the tale of two Kentucky places, the mountains of Harlan County, where African-American miners, teachers, and extended family shaped the character and aspirations of a future community leader, and then the bluegrass, where his life's work through the Urban League has been building opportunity for those in the margins of the state's second largest city. From humble beginnings and numerous obstacles to becoming the second longest serving president of an urban league in America, PG has earned accolades and admiration that few ever reach in their lifetime. He has changed the look, the attitude, and the policies of the city of Lexington, all for the better, and all for the underserved communities he has championed boldly for decades. He has stepped in as a voice of reason, a voice of clarity, and a voice that will not be silenced where an educational and economic opportunity has been denied to the African American community. He has lifted neighborhoods from despair into affordable housing for families, the elderly, and the young alike. He has been a champion of economic and educational efforts, too numerous to mention, but acknowledged continuously by those who have benefited from his tireless efforts. We all owe this man a debt that can never be repaid. PG Peeples is a man of few words. As he has so many times spoken to the youth of our community, don't take yourself too seriously. Take what you do seriously. PG is a man of action that speaks much louder than words. Peeples is a people person, make no mistake. There is not enough time in a single evening to hear every voice that would sing his praises, but there are a special few who wish to share their gratitude and admiration for a great, great man among us.
Since PG Peeples left the coal fields of Lynch, Kentucky, to become one of only about 50 black students at UK in the late 1960s, he has never stopped striving to make this a better and more equitable place. This is evident in his advocacy in expanding diversity in athletics, his leadership in creating the statute that honors the UK football players who broke the color barrier, his service on UK's leadership team advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's why he earned an honorary doctorate from his alma mater. These are only a few of the reasons we recognize him tonight. Dr. Peeples, we will strive to honor your work every day with our words and actions in making this university, this community, and this Commonwealth places that expand equity and exponential opportunities.
I'm MORIAL, president of the National Urban League. And while I've only been given 30 seconds to offer some thoughts about my friend and a great urban leader, PG Peeples, I could take 30 minutes or 3 hours to do so because his contributions are so considerable. But I want to thank PG Peeples for his impact on Lexington, his impact on the Urban League movement, and for his generosity and friendship and support of me the entire time I've had the privilege to serve as president and chief executive officer. I've enjoyed my visits to Lexington, as PG Peeples has walked me around Lexington with great enthusiasm to see some of the transformative projects he's worked on. As I've had an opportunity to see leaders and people from every walk of life greet this man with enthusiasm, passion, and respect. PG, we love you, we respect you, we cherish you. Congratulations and thank you for the work you've done and for the work you'll continue to do. God bless you.
PG, this is SADIQA Reynolds here. Congratulations on all of your work. It has been wonderful to watch the Lexington Urban League and all that you've done around community housing development. I know that Lexington has changed because of your work, and I am certainly changed for having known you. Thank you for being so supportive of me. You have been a wonderful colleague, and as I exit the Louisville Urban League, I am thinking about you and thinking about Lexington and about Kentucky and all that we've been able to do together. Take care, my friend. Congratulations.
I first met PG Peeples when I was getting recruited for PG to be there representing the black student community at UK in an effort to recruit some of the, well, Nate Northington and Greg Page had already been recruited, but for him to represent the black student community at UK was quite special. So it was almost like it was by design, or it was just God's will that PG and Art, but PG be in the same dorm as two young freshman football players who were struggling with making it every day at playing football at a university that wasn't ready for black players. And I think when he was interviewed, when we had the statue unveiling, I think PG made a statement that Houston, Nate, Greg, and I were his Jackie Robinsons, and which was quite a compliment. But PG Peeples was my Barack Obama. PG Peeples can be trusted. He's dependable. He's smart. And whatever recognition he gets that he never has asked for, he's deserving.
Thank you, PG, for all you've done, all you continue to do in this community. You truly are a pillar in this movement. You've taught all of us who are coming behind you how to be the change we wish to see. Thank you. We appreciate you and we love you.
It is a pleasure to be here today to say a few words to honor my friend, PG Peeples. My late husband, Don, worked closely with PG on affordable housing for the people of Central Kentucky and Lexington particularly. The projects that they've built, a lot of those have been, of course, for families, a single family, but then a lot of those apartments have been built mainly or renovated mainly for senior citizens. So it gives housing to people, and you know, I guess that he and my husband had that in common. They tried to find housing for people, and PG had the same passion that my husband did as far as housing for all the people everywhere. His legacy is a lot of the housing that you see, but you also, the legacy is what the Urban League is. And he's going to be a hard act to follow. His legacy is going to be his leadership and what he's done for everybody in Lexington and Fayette County. I just want to emphasize the passion that he had for people and for housing. And I guess that he has benefited so many people, and we're very, very grateful for that. And I want to thank him for all he's done.
I would just like to say thank you to PG for the many, many years of service to the Urban League and our entire community. I was so proud to be a part of the inaugural Young Professionals group, and it meant so much to me early in my career to connect with like-minded peers and to see what kind of thriving young community we had here in Lexington, and it honestly was a big part of staying connected to this community. So thank you for your mentorship, your legacy, and your inspiration to lead all of us in that group to go on to great things, and it's wonderful to see how we're all still serving our local community. Best wishes, and thank you for all you've done.
Well, PG was always passionate about a lot of things, but as I got to know him over the years, housing was one issue that we sort of came together on. And as we talked about housing and development, you could see his passion for affordable housing and affordability. So as that evolved, we quickly became cohorts in working to create the Urban League Fayette County Development Corporation. There's not a neighborhood in this urban community that PG has not touched, and the Fayette County Development Corporation has not touched because of a vision and a dream that Porter came up with. It's more than just bricks and mortar. There's a social commitment that's evolved. And I see that every time I go by a project. You can point to something that the Urban League has left their fingerprints on. There's not a road you can't go down, or there's not a building you can't pass, that somehow or other the Urban League and Porter Peeples has left that imprint, from education to housing to social initiatives to fairness and equality to economic development, workforce. And they're all an initiative of what Porter believes in, and his staff and the people around him, sort of get that vision, or you catch that sparkle and you go with it. So,
PG, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for everything you've always done for me. Been a mentor, a confidant, a coach, friend, and more importantly, you've been an example of integrity and success that we all can strive for. You are really appreciated, and I love you.
PG, thank you so much for investing in me and so many generations of leaders. You've paved the way and opened the door for so many young professionals to have a seat at the table, and for that, we are forever grateful.
PG is a visionary. He sees things that are not and proceeds to make them as they should be. A visionary brings together the resources and the people to meet a need. We have, over the past few years, of the 37 years that I was there, we developed over $28 million in affordable housing, that is single-family homeownership, single-family rentals, multifamily rentals for senior citizens. Going forward, he has addressed inequality and injustice and equity in education and the lack of affordable housing, job training, putting the underserved, giving them skills and marketable skills to enter into job markets. I have worked more closely with PG than most people for 37 years. I've been the second man in charge. I ran the programs, I managed the finances, I managed the development, and I've worked with him, seeing at times his frustrations and things not getting done, and yet his indomitable spirit not to give up on things and keep pushing, keep looking for that answer, keep looking for that right combination to bring something together and make it happen. It's just been awesome, been an amazing journey, an amazing experience working alongside such a visionary leader that has a compassion for the people and a passion for the job.
Well, in order to be a good leader, you have to lead by example of integrity, of character, to be able to follow somebody who sets the kind of example that you hope you can also be part of. I don't know of anybody I've ever met in my life that is a better leader than he is. He's got the longest serving head of a organization like the Urban League of anybody in the United States. He is a civil rights leader. He is a leader of people. But more than that, when PG speaks, people listen. If they had to have a most valuable person in the Lexington community over the last 50 years, he's it. He is a solidifying force of this community. He's done more for this community than any other single person in the last 50 years. He leads in a manner in which people of all faiths, of all colors, recognize his leadership ability that is non-threatening but very effective. A terrific human being. It's hard to not like him, but it's also hard to not accept his ability to bring people together. I've never met anybody like him. He is one of the best friends I've ever had and one of the best human beings I've ever met. I love him as a person, and I think anybody that you talk to who has been around him will say the same thing.
He began very early in terms of being a leader as a quarterback for a football team at Lynch, Kentucky. People aren't aware that he had that type of experience. But also being a leader in his friendship groups, in his history of his employment, being self-employed, as a newspaper carrier and selling jet magazines when he was younger. So I think it began very early, and I think also that PG came in the world with the ability to have that leadership skills, even though he may not see it that way, but I see it that way, that he came with these skills already when he came into the world. PG's legacy is reflected in the number of people throughout these years that he has mentored, and that the idea is for those individuals to go out at the local level, at the state level, at the national level, because he's known across the country. And so if they say that they are connected to the Urban League in Lexington, Kentucky, or PG Peeples, they know that those individuals know that they have been helped and that they are there to help other people. He's such a kind and warm person, easy to connect with, easy to relate to. He's able to manage relationships, bring in people that are on the same chord or even might not be on the same chord in order to work for the good of mankind, humankind.